Hey, welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines, and we're actually on the road now going up to see my friend Michael. Michael is a British New Zealander, to use the American way of describing one's heritage together with one's final citizenship. So this is the good part of the road up to Michael's place in Zamora, and Zamora is a very glamorous name for what I think is probably a close description of. See, look at the kids, they're very small kids, they're waving and no one is in charge of them, and it's the way. Yeah, so it really is paradise. I went up to Michael's one particular time and he wasn't there. He has still not got reliable internet, so sometimes, like right now, I'm heading out there and I know that he may not be there, which I'll take my chances because I'm in the truck and I actually enjoy my alone time in the truck. See more little kids. That's one of the things that is hardest to get used to. I'll let this man pass me. Go. Let's put you in a better place to see the road. Is that better? Let me see. I think a little bit too much sky. Okay. So I went up once and he wasn't there, and because I was waiting to see if anybody came out of the house before I got out of my truck parked, I was just struck by the beauty of Michael's place. And I'll take a video when we get up there. I'll finish this video off, but I'll take a video up of when we're at the farm. It is a beautiful place. I took a still shot of it, of their little house. They live very modestly, very simply, but it's idyllic, and it overlooks. It's on a gentle slope down to the lake, and they live on a lake. It's just beautiful. I posted that picture on Facebook and I titled it Paradise Found, and it really does seem like paradise. Michael and Bonnie went through a hell of a time with the typhoon Odette. Because it devastated the farm, and they're recovering now. They have a house that's on top of the hill, and then one which they call the cottage, which is further down, which is where they live, and they enjoy that there. It's a tiny. They live in a bedsit, really, the same as Beth and I. When it's a very benign climate, other than typhoons here and there, this is a wonderful climate, and that's why people can live in houses that would be little more than a garden shed if they've got nothing. You may be able to see some of those. Now, I don't know what's. Got some trucks down there, but they're not moving. I guess they're not going to move. Let's hope I can get by. As I say, Filipinos, they have an overestimation on the amount of space that you need to get through. Like this, there's no way to go on the edge there. I'll be off into the rice field. So we're going to have to cut it very fine on this side. We've got about 2 inches. This is broken down, and they're doing a repair. Actually, they're setting it up so that they can tow it. Okay, I'm through. Yeah, so I posted the picture on Facebook and called it, I titled it Paradise Found. Bonnie and Michael have been working very hard on getting the repairs done and getting everything fixed. As I say, they live in the cottage, which is really a bedsit with outside covered area where they spend most of their time, and very happily. And I think when you see the video, you'll understand why. It's easy when you come to the Philippines. It's easy to find a place that is in a beautiful setting. It's very easy. And then the next thing that's very easy is to forget how beautiful it is. And this was illustrated by my recent meeting with an old friend, Tracy from Australia. And he has been working in some exotic places, and he made a comment about an experience that he'd had where he took video of the place where he was working, and it was only when he watched the video that he suddenly became aware of just how beautiful it was. He said on the video he could hear I don't know what's happening here. They're not. Oh yeah, it's a good indication, well, a good illustration now of how Filipinos think you've got all the space in the world when you haven't. I think that's a lady. Is that a lady driving? And he said when he watched the video, he could hear the birds singing, and he said it was just beautiful, but he had forgotten to keep looking, which I thought was a lesson. There's a lady coming on a motorcycle. Oh, very young. That's another thing about the Philippines. You will find very young kids. Let me get that pointed down again. You'll find kids who are kids who are little more than sometimes 8 years old, and they're riding a motorcycle, 150 motorcycle, and you'll often see them riding a tricycle. Filipinos, very, very skillful in driving, but where it tests the patience and the tolerance of a foreigner is that there is no training for how to get along with everybody else on the road. so they tend to think of themselves as being the only ones. Okay, so we're still on the road to Zamora, as they would say in Hollywood. I was thinking today, even as I came down to the road, how coming from cobblestone streets in Manchester a long time ago, of course, in the 50s. I left Manchester in the 50s, okay, and there were cobblestone streets then. My sister, for instance, lived in Rochdale, and she lived in, I think it was three small cottages that were either farmers' cottages or miners' cottages, I'm not sure which, but the road that she lived on ended where her tiny little village of a few homes. Let me let these guys go past. There they go. And the three houses had been knocked into one and made into a reasonable sized home. But it was in what was called Lanehead Village. You know the way that things are, probably somebody will say, I know Lanehead Village. It was in Rochdale, and it was right next to the moors. And where the modern day, oh, kids doing TikTok there. A lot of kids dancing on the patio there. And where the modern road ended in Lanehead Village, a Roman road continued on and over the moors, still from Roman times, the Roman occupation. There's amazing. See, look, these two people, it's just not, they're not trained like we are in foreign land. And rather than make you realize that they are not trained, it makes you realize just how trained the foreigners are. Well, say my mother and father, fearing me getting run over, would absolutely instill fear into me about stepping onto the road. So I had that thing in the UK when I was a kid. When I was a kid, any parent going out would take their child, stand them on the curb, and they would say, look left, look right, and look left again. And of course I never forgot that, still have it, and kids here think in a different way, and it's part of the fact that we are in a foreign country. It's a whole different culture. When I was thinking this morning as I was driving along through a road similar to this but not quite as crowded on our road, it's different because we can actually see. We can see for miles over in almost every direction because it's not all overgrown like this. The vegetation is so thick, and then just on the other side of that vegetation you have rice fields or houses like that one. A motorcycle is the motorcycle is the transport of choice. See now, if you can see coming up, they pulled over at probably the most narrow part of the road, and they expect that I'm going to be able to get through there, which I will have to do. Okay.
Hi.
And a pretty lady. So I've seen more greenery couple of kids. I see you wobbling. Okay, I'm gonna end off here. I think we've been on quite a time. Bye for now.